Dave, give us a little bit from that Gaunt article.
Yeah, so this is David M. Gaunt from 1972, and he says, direct celestial intervention is rare in Apollonius's narrative, and where it does occur, it often has no significant consequences.
Man, let's check it out.
Welcome to the Ad Nauseam podcast, where classical gourmands everywhere can finally get their fill. Join us for a delectable discussion of Greco-Roman civilization stretching from the Minoans and Mycenaeans through the Renaissance and right down to the present. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Dr. David Noe and Dr. Jeff Winkle.
Welcome, Ad Nauseam listeners, to episode 223. As always, my name is Dr. David C. Noe. I'm here in the basement, the bunker, Vomitorium Central, our final resting place, no doubt, with my good friend and fabulous co-host, Dr. Jeffrey T. Winkle. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to start out by complaining about the weather a little bit.
Are you?
Yes,
Come on.
Okay. Well, just a mild complaint. I mean, it's swampy out there, Dave.
There is a little humidity.
Yeah.
But isn't that apropos of today's topic? You had to row your way here through the humidity in the air?
Okay, I appreciate making the link there.
Thank you. Driving, was it your Honda Odyssey?
It was my Toyota Sienna.
Toyota Sienna.
Yes.
Isn't Sienna a crayon or
it's
a color
like
or
burnt
something?
Sienna.
Yes.
It's also a medieval hill town in northern Italy.
Oh, that's correct. We've been there, haven't we?
We've been there together.
That's correct. Catherine is from there.
Yes.
Catherine of Siena.
And I believe her head is still on display there.
Isn't there the running of the horses? Is that the right spot?
Yeah, the Palio.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Impressive.
Yeah. But
I don't know of any vehicle named an Argo. Do you?
There's
the Honda Odyssey. There is no Argo.
No, that would be a great name for a vehicle. I believe the Sienna has two ends, as opposed to the one end in Italy.
Are you trying to avoid a corrigendum, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to head off Will or, or Ron. Or,
where there's a will, there's a corrigendum.
That's right.
As we say.
Yeah.
But you're feeling good despite the weather complaints.
Got back a couple of days ago from a few days up north camping in the hinter wildlands of northern Michigan, which is always great. But
up in that region, I believe if you take along like an old clothesline rope or some bungee cord or something, you can hitch yourself to a mosquito and and jet around the woods like something from, what is it, the moon of Endor?
Yes. I am, for whatever reason, I have been blessed with a body, a smell that the mosquitoes do not care for.
So you are impervious to mosquitoes,
more or less. But my children,
like the women of Lemnos.
Exactly. Way to bring it back around.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but my children get devoured.
Huh.
Yeah. So
that's right.
My youngest, Abram, came home with his ankles were just
bitten,
pockmarked with red welts.
Those mosquitoes, they are very ravenous.
They are
in the hinterlands of Michigan. So this was camping or glamping?
It was camping. We were in tents, sleeping on the ground, and so I mean, aside from the bugs and aside from a couple lousy nights sleep, it was actually really
the smell of smoke. Aside from that,
the smell of campfire. That's a wonderful.
But you like it soaked into your clothes, saturated deep in.
Yeah, well, I mean, while you're there, you just throw it in the machine when you get home with it.
So other than that,
good time. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Any campfire tales? Any ghost stories?
No ghost stories. There were a lot of requests from the children. They wanted. We were camping with some friends, and they wanted tales from our adolescence.
Yes.
So lots of
what could be more riveting?
Comparing high school days, school days.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. Lots of laughs. Yeah. And how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. Got back from some travel and attended a wedding down in Texas.
Yeah.
Someone pretty close to me, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell I've been traveling because Keurig, right, is coming up. Lots of Keurig to discuss.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Okay.
So glad to be home.
Yes.
Among for many reasons, among which is the improvement in the coffee game.
Oh, yes.
Which we'll get to later.
Definitely. Did you drive or fly?
Oh, we flew.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That is a long way to drive.
That is a long drive, yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
But thankful for the conveniences of travel. So rapid to get from GRR down to DFW and then take the drive around to Waco.
Yeah.
Stop off at Buc-ee's, get some
Oh,
barbecue.
did you stop at Buc-ee's?
Of course.
I've never been to one.
Never been?
I would love to go to a Buc-ee's.
Well, we should go sometime.
Yes,
we
exactly.
swing through. Is it South Dakota that's never downloaded an episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Swing through South Dakota and head to Texas, make a Buc-ee's run.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of long-distance pilgrimages and journeys,
Yes.
right, to fetch something,
Yes.
whether it's the beaver nuggets at Buc-ee's or
Yes.
or the golden fleece in Colchis.
Yes.
What is our subject today?
Well, this is our second episode of, as we were just talking off mic, who knows how many.
Right.
But the second of maybe 4 episodes talking about Apollonius of Rhodes' 4-book epic poem, Argonautica. And so last week, if you didn't tune in, you might want to do that. We talked about some of the contextual,
Right.
literary, cultural background of the poem, a little bit about who Apollonius was.
Some of his biography, and then a little bit of what makes Hellenistic poetry and literature generally so unique.
Yep.
You brought up that great Bon Mot Bon Mot.
Bon Mot.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a drummer for somebody?
Bon Mot, I think, was the first lead singer for AC/DC.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Of one Callimachus.
Yes.
Big book,
Big
right?
book, big evil. Yeah.
Big evil. Tomega biblion, something Tomega kakon,
Yeah.
I think is how it goes. And so we posed this question. Apollonius, when he sets out to write his 4-book epic, is he following in line with the Callimachian program, you might say, or is he going to try to actually resuscitate the spirit of the Homeric epic?
Yes.
So the Iliad, 24 books, the Odyssey, 24, the Argonautica, a mere 4 books.
Right.
And they're lean. There's not a lot there.
There's not a lot. Yeah, no fat on them at all. But I mean, it's a fascinating question. To what degree was Apollonius? As we talked last time a little bit about his biography, we don't know a ton about him.
Started out in Alexandria, apparently.
and then wound up in Rhodes.
Correct.
Maybe because for some scandal or argument.
Well, I think one of the authors, Rose, suggests that the first edition of the Argonautica was a flop.
Oh, it was a bomb.
It was a bomb. So
Right.
people said, come on, get out of here. We can't handle that.
Yeah.
If only those who produce bad movies write bad pop songs.
Yeah.
If only we could kick them out.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
For a
right.
certain amount of time, like a kind of aesthetic, what's the word I'm looking?
Ostracism.
That's it.
Exactly.
A kind of aesthetic ostracism. That would be fantastic.
Fantastic. Right.
So he went to Apollonius, and the Rhodians adopted him.
Yeah.
And apparently later he went back to the library in Alexandria, and of course the greatest perk of that is the parking spot.
Parking spot is great.
I'm sure.
Exactly right. In some of the amenities, the hot tub.
That's correct.
Yeah, the climbing wall.
Absolutely. As I was tooling around Baylor's campus this past weekend on various errands, there's lots of parking spots for faculty and staff.
Really?
And I did a little bit of, I don't know what we should call it, shady ethical reasoning,
Yeah.
because I'm a faculty member.
Yeah.
And
So-
it didn't
So
say
the sign just said for faculty.
faculty or staff.
Yeah.
I'm a staff member somewhere. It doesn't say Baylor faculty.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was willing to risk the penalty if I had to pay a fine, because I had to be somewhere at a certain time.
Right.
It was Friday afternoon. It was 185 degrees.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'll just take my lumps if I'm actually not allowed to park
Friday
here.
afternoon, what professor is going to be
Well,
on campus?
Tuesday
Yeah.
morning, what professor is going to be there? You are in academia, right?
That's right.
As the great Ken Bratt used to say, you could fire a cannon down these halls and not hit anyone most days.
That's true. Yeah.
So my journey here, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
My journey to find a parking spot was once again like Jason with the golden fleece.
Gotcha, yes.
Same thing. Stakes just as high.
Man, so the Argonautica just keeps popping up
Yes.
in your life and apparently mine. I just
That's
missed it.
correct.
Yeah.
So reprise for the listeners a little bit, would you please, how it is that Jason sets off on this journey. Phrixus and Helle and the whole thing.
Exactly. So through the tale of Phrixus and Helle and the golden ram, I'm not going to go into all the particulars, but the ram carries Phrixus all the way to Colchis. The ram is sacrificed, and the fleece from that ram is given to King Aietes there as a gift, as thanks for taking him in. And this is where the fleece is hung in his sacred secret garden.
Right.
And it gathers this mythos around it as kind of this sacred, forbidden, magic, divine object.
And gather some flies too, I imagine.
I imagine it had to be a little stinky.
That's
maybe
correct.
he had some good. What do you do to like make a bearskin rug? There has to be some
I don't
kind
know.
of like
There's a tanning process. There's a tanning process.
Maybe he had it properly tanned.
You have to get the skin to shrink around, if you really want to know, the follicles of the hair on the other side.
Yes.
And they scrape it off real clean. So Aeetes is the son of the god of the sun, Helios.
That's right.
And then Aeetes has 2 children, or maybe 3, but two for sure.
Yes.
He's got Medea, who features prominently in the story later on, and he has a son, Absyrtus, who also features prominently in what we could call a very restricted role.
Yes, a very restricted, very tragic.
That's correct.
Horrible role. Right.
So that sets up pretty much part of it. But what about Jason and the man with the one sandal?
Right. So Jason is now we're back in Iolcus, which is northern Greece, and Jason
in the Thrace area, not quite to Thrace,
not quite that far, but kind of up near in like the Mount Olympus region, getting close upper towards Thessaloniki. And he is part of the royal family. He's in line for the throne. His father Aeson is supposed to take the throne, and this is a classic kind of archetypal narrative structure where the throne is robbed from its rightful heir, and things are thrown into chaos, and that's the problem that needs to be set right.
Got it.
And so Aeson is usurped by his brother Peleus, and Peleus takes the throne, imprisons Aeson, but not before Aeson can send Jason deep into the forest to be saved, and also to be raised and trained by Chiron,
the centaur.
The ancient Greek Yoda.
Okay,
yes, right.
Just with more legs.
With more legs, yes. In the meantime, Peleus, now ruling Iolcus as the usurper, receives a dread oracle, and that oracle says that one day a man's going to show up in town. He's going to have one sandal on, one sandal off, and that man will be kind of the catalyst for your doom, your end.
So Jason comes back.
Yep.
Hera features in this somehow. He's crossing a river, and he picks up Hera disguised as an old woman.
Yeah, he doesn't realize this is the goddess.
But he's just, as you said, I think last time, he's a good Boy Scout. Help the old lady cross the river.
Yep.
And apparently her gravitas is so enormous that his sandal, his croc, squishes down into the mud, getting stuck there.
Yep.
Now he's deprived of that one sandal.
Yep.
And as he limps into Iolcus, Peleus recognizes this is the guy who shall be my doom.
Yes, right. And
so how do I get rid of him?
He gets very frightened, right? So Hera, also just to add a little bit more to that, so Hera is already upset with Peleus because he's been allowing her temples to crumble and he's not attending to her rights, and so Hera sees Jason as a vessel that she can use to take revenge against Peleus. And again, throughout this, and we talked a bit about this last time, is Jason, he's a bit of a cipher, right? He's kind of a blank slate. And so him being used as a puppet of Hera, at least at the beginning, it comports with his kind of his lack of identity.
Yeah, kind of a marmoset.
Yeah, a marmoset.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Marmoset, marionette. I learned recently those are synonyms.
I guess. I think I heard that a while back.
Didn't know that about marmoset. That's 2 French references, the bon mot and the marmoset.
Yeah, let's see how many we can get in.
We'll see.
So Jason shows up to the court of Peleus, and in his great naivete, he just simply demands the throne back for his father, for his side of the family.
And Peleus, with an A-S, so as not to be confused with Peleus, the father of Achilles.
Yes, good.
Of course, Peleus, he's not going to give away the kingdom just because the rightful heir has returned.
Right.
So he sends him on this wild goose chase, which involves, in the world of mixed metaphors, a golden fleece.
Exactly. So Peleus, he's streetwise enough to know, he knows the rule of oracles, that if an oracle is pronounced, it has to come true.
Right.
And the best that you can do is delay it's the grenade exploding, right? And so Peleus, I guess maybe deep in his heart, of course, he's hoping that he can get rid of the one settlement for good.
He'll be killed along the way.
Yes.
Symplegades, the Cyclops, something will get him.
Yeah, right. So he gets Jason to swear that he will bring back the Golden Fleece as a token of his rightful heirship to the throne.
Right.
And so the idea is that the quest for the Golden Fleece is the ultimate fool's errand.
Right.
People have done it before. They never come back.
So a fool's errand would be something like win one of the presidential primaries, right? Become the candidate for either the Democratic or the Republican Party, right? Or as the Libertarian candidate, win the presidency.
Right.
Something that's deemed impossible.
Right.
Land a man on Mars, right?
Yes.
We've done the moon, but will anyone ever accomplish that?
Yeah.
Can you think of any analogs?
Those are excellent. I think that frames it quite well.
You're not gonna throw your hat into the ring.
Well,
here?
I mean, the only thing that jumps to mind, of course, are other mythological comparata. So it's a similar kind of issue with Perseus.
Yes.
So Perseus also swears that he will go off and collect the Gorgon's head.
That's right.
And his enemy there on Seriphos thinks, go ahead and do that.
I was thinking apples of Hesperides.
Yes, right.
Right? Hercules has got to go and get the apples of the Hesperides. And so I think Atlas does it while he shoulders the world.
Right.
Maybe in terms that we can relate to, finish all of your final exam grading on the last day of the semester.
Yeah. Right.
That's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
You're going to limp right up until the very end of vacation, right?
Right.
The registrar gives you, 12 midnight on January 5, 11:59, you push submit, right?
Yeah. Never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
And, in Greek myth or in most myths, those kinds of adventures also take the adventurer to the very ends of the earth.
That's correct.
From the point of view of the culture that's producing the story.
It's got to be some exotic setting.
Yep.
Preferably, to use terms you like, liminal.
Yes, liminal. So Colchis, if our listeners can imagine a map in their head, is at the far eastern edge of what we call the Black Sea, which was for the Greeks of the day probably pretty close to the edge of their geographical knowledge.
Timbuktu.
Right.
For Grand Rapidians, it would be something like Lowell. Or Alto.
Exactly. Alto, I think.
Right?
Is good. Right.
Overijssel. We've heard of these places out in the hinterlands.
Nobody's exactly sure if they actually exist. Right. But as you said, King Aeetes, the king of Colchis, is the son of Helios. And that also makes good sense so Colchis would be associated with where the sun would be rising, right? The very edge of things.
Right.
And, so it makes sense that the son of the sun would live there.
So that's good, Jeff. I think you have an opening quote for us.
Yeah, this is from an article by one David M. Gaunt. I imagine that he's picture him kind of sickly and very skinny and scrawny.
What?
Mr. Gaunt?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
So when I was in Texas, I was talking to someone who was talking about teaching elementary kids. Yeah. And she was teaching them about Peter Bruegel the Elder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I said, have you seen the famous painting, two thin guys eating a fat guy?
Oh yeah.
She had not heard of it.
Oh, well, she has no business teaching that.
Well, now come on. Then I explained to her, the Fall of Icarus. Yeah. Had also not heard of that one.
What?
So I don't know what Bruegel she's teaching, but it's impressive.
Man, I think she would probably Bruegel the younger.
Yeah. So David M. Gaunt.
He wrote an article entitled "Argo and the Gods" in Apollonius Rhodius. From the journal Greece and Rome from way back in 1972.
October 1972. That was before I was born.
Yeah.
So the gods in Apollonius Rhodius. That's very timely as the Nolan edition of the Odyssey is coming out. We'll see how he handles the deity.
Indeed. I'm very curious to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lay it on us.
So early in the article, he's actually quoting one J.R. Bacon.
Should be a crisp quote.
Nice. Bacon writes, "The Odyssey, as his name implies, is a story of a man." And if I could again just editorialize, the very first Greek word in the Odyssey is andra, which is the man.
Andromoi Enepes, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes on to say, "The Argonautica, too, is well named. It is the story of a ship and of a voyage." So last episode we were talking a bit about how, in many ways, Apollonius is taking his hero out of the center. Right. This is not, in some ways, it's not really about the heroism or the innate greatness of Jason. He doesn't really have it,
which is good because he doesn't have any.
Exactly.
Right? He's pretty vacuous.
Yeah. And so I was just doing some poking around earlier this morning and looking at bits of Valerius Flaccus's Argonautica.
Oh yes,
a Latin poem, which is it's a version which I have not read.
Roman poet, mid first century AD, mid to late.
Right, and kind of just reading a bit about kind of what he did with the same story is that his Jason is a lot more like Aeneas.
Okay,
kind of chosen by destiny.
Understood.
He's kind of long suffering. He's a skilled captain.
Right.
He's very much like a Roman general. Right. So this is not to say that Apollonius is just this is just that's who Jason was.
Yeah.
But in the tradition.
So as the story is told, the vehicle literally.
Yeah.
The vehicle for the story takes over the story.
Right.
And is the centerpiece.
Right.
So it is exactly like Love Bug.
Herbie the Love Bug?
Yes.
How is it exactly like Herbie the Love Bug?
It's in every respect. It's apt. The analogy holds.
Yeah.
Because I challenge you to name any of the characters from those movies other than the Volkswagen Beetle.
Well, that's a good point, right? I mean, that could speak to it. That was just a very forgettable movie.
Well, you remembered it as soon as I said Love Bug.
It's the title of the movie is Herbie the Love Bug.
You don't remember the shenanigans they got?
I remember. I have a vague impression of shenanigans.
Okay.
Right?
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, exactly.
There's another movie in which the vehicle, so to speak, takes over the entire show.
Right, exactly right. Yeah. So and they become I mean imbued with a human persona.
Yes,
right?
and the particular characters that inhabit the vehicle and come in and out and they have their adventures, they're not really that important.
They're not.
They serve the overall, I don't know, purposes of the car, the jet, the helicopter. Was it Blue Thunder, something like that?
Oh yeah, Blue Thunder.
Yeah,
so,
deep cut.
So yeah, deep cut. Yeah, it seems like in the 70s and 80s it was
about the vehicles.
Much more common trope.
That's
that
right.
The vehicle becomes the thing.
Airwolf, Air Force One. Yeah. So these are
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
There you go.
Yeah. Right.
So this is where the centerpiece in which the action takes place. Work with me here, Wayne.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Actually, kind of takes over the whole story.
It is. Yes.
We could say that something similar is going on in the Argonautica.
Well, it's
about the boat.
If I could push back on that just a little bit. I mean, Gaunt also goes on to say about how Apollonius backs away from some of the traditions about the legendary powers that the ship itself was purported to have.
That's right.
So, I mean, I think the title is well chosen, Argonautica. It's a way of Apollonius saying this really isn't about Jason. It's
an ensemble cast.
It's an ensemble cast, right? And so I think you're right. In the grand scheme of things, who's on the ship isn't all that ultimately important,
right?
But they have kind of their moment of Aristea on the stage, right? And so they meet a challenge which happens to line up with the skill of a particular character,
right? And to indulge in a little bit of prolepsis here, a little bit of anticipation.
Yeah.
Illustration of that point is that we're going to have to get Heracles off the boat,
right?
Which comes in book 1,
right?
You can't have Heracles on the boat and make it about Argonautica.
Of course not.
Wherever he goes, it's about him.
That's right. He's going to Mog the whole thing.
Nice. He eclipses everything.
It does.
In fact, there's another memorable line in book 1 where it talks about him sitting in the center. Is it with a? It's a castus. I think he and a castus are sitting in the center doing the majority of the rowing.
Yeah.
And whenever he steps, the entire boat begins to sink down. So he's literally weighing down the story.
Yeah, exactly. I like to imagine like Heracles standing up and the boat immediately just starts to kind of pull to the right.
Right.
Exactly. Down.
You got another Gaunt, David M. Gaunt quote there.
Yes, right. So he says, it would seem that Apollonius, though well aware of Argo's legendary powers, prefers not to make use of them in his narrative, perhaps because he wishes to concentrate on the specialist abilities of his crew. So that's, kind of like what we were just saying.
Potentially, but even that didn't come through so much. Specialist abilities?
Yeah.
At least in book 1, when he's going through the catalog, and we'll turn to that in just a second, he lists some of the particular skills of each one of these, members of the A-team.
Yeah.
But they don't really come to the surface, I would say, in the subsequent storytelling.
No, exactly. They kind of, in some ways, disappear from the narrative.
That's right.
We were quoting somebody else last week who suggested that the best way to read that catalog of heroes is to compare it to the catalog of the ships.
Oh, yes.
In the Iliad, right? And it's a way of Apollonius of kind of giving a hat tip into many different kind of parts of the Greek world,
right? And
to kind of include them. But after the hat tip, it really kind of boils down just to kind of a core central heroic.
That's
group,
right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. So for the series, we're using the translation by Stanley Lombardo and Cynthia C. Polsley, with an introduction by Tara Welch. And this is the Hackett edition, of course. And as we're here, I'd say line number 188, Jeff. So this is PDF 60 or page 9 of the text, kind of dropping ourselves down into the middle of the catalog.
Yeah.
I want to read just a little bit.
Please.
With him came Pylomonius, ostensible son of Olenian Lernus, but really the son of Hephaestus. So here we've got the name of the character, Pylomonius. He's supposedly the son of Lernus from Olenia, but actually the son of Hephaestus. So you've got geography and mythology. Now you're going to get his particular statistics. which is why his feet were crippled, says Apollonius. That is, he's the son of Hephaestus. It's a heritable trait, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
But his physique and bravery were such that no one would scorn, and he was one of the heroes who won fame for Jason. The Phocians were represented by Iphitus, son of Naubolus, grandson of Ornatus. So you've got the region, Phocia, then you've got the name of the hero, the father of the hero, the grandfather of the hero, and then here we get a little bit of a backstory once again.
Mm-hmm.
He once hosted Jason when he went to Pytho to consult the oracle about his voyage, entertaining him then in his own halls.
Well, that also reminds me of a very core theme in the Iliad is the importance of kind of the guest friendship.
That's correct,
right?
And how it can lead to lots of other opportunities.
Yes,
which is why you don't ever want to pass up Xenia, either receiving or giving, because who knows what might grow out of it.
Exactly. You got to network. You got to pass out the business
That's
card.
correct.
That's right.
The first time I stumbled into the wing there at Calvin University, nay College,
Yeah.
right? When you were there already ensconced as a faculty member, I think we shared a coffee or something like that.
I believe that's true.
We did some networking.
We did.
Pretended we recognized each other from undergrad days.
Yes. I think I remember actually sitting down with you in Cincinnati over some strange chili poured over spaghetti noodles.
That's right. When I was being interviewed for the job.
Exactly. Yeah,
what kind of impression did I make?
It was an excellent one.
Really?
Yes, I said this.
You can be honest, Jeff.
That seems erudite,
Okay.
if a little bit maybe ill-tempered.
What? What? Next were, says Apollonius, Zetes and Calais, the sons of Boreas. That's the west wind, the north wind, right? Whom Oreithaea, Erechtheus' daughter, bore to the storm god on Thrace's icy frontier, where the god snatched her away as she whirled in a dance by the river Ilissus. He carried Oreithaea far from Cecropia to what men now call Sarpedon's Rock near the river Erginus. So it's interesting to me that not only does he mention this is the hero's name, this is his father, this is his mother, maybe his grandpa. Here's a little interesting story about his background.
Yeah.
But then you have to load in geography, you have to load in mythology.
Right.
And I guess this is how you keep the reader's attention?
I guess so. And I think this is Apollonius. These are his shout outs.
Okay.
Right. So he's tapping into probably traditions and stories that were particularly important to particular areas.
Okay.
And he kind of gives them a nod.
So I know that you hate the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Not hate. I'm just.
You're strongly opposed?
I'm fatigued with
Fatigued?
it. Enough already.
Fatigue.
Let
right?
it breathe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's another one coming up, right?
Great.
I think there's a new movie pretty much every day. And this one is another Spider-Man movie, right? It's coming out in July.
Really?
They've all had different kinds of home-related, like Far From Home,
Right.
Homecoming,
right.
something like that. I don't know. Home for Sale, something like that. Homegrown.
Right.
In this one, there's a number of, I understand, deep Marvel character cuts, right?
Okay.
So they have to bring these people in for fan service, I believe is what they call it.
Right.
And everyone wants to see, even on screen for just 5 minutes, I guess, how the producers would imagine some character from the comic books.
Right.
So I find that's very applicable. And if I were a teacher of this particular epic, that's the line I would take with students.
Yeah.
Why are Zetes and Calais here? Well, because the audience knows them, and you can't sail to Colchis and not at least mention Professor Hulk or Red Hulk or Savage Hulk or whoever.
Right. Exactly. No, that's well said. And now, as we get deeper into the epic over the next few episodes, we'll see if Zetes and Calais show up again. My sense is that they don't.
Right.
But this is, like you said, this is their 5 minutes. So you surprise the audience. Oh, I know those
That's
guys.
correct.
It's great. You get a laugh. You get a cheer, and then it's on to the next.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what were Zetes and Calais' particular skills that they brought to the Argo?
Apollonius writes, now Zetes and Calais beat the dusky wings that grew on their ankles as they rose in the air. A wonder to see, wings flecked with gold scales, and the long dark hair that swirled around their heads and necks fluttered in the wind.
Interesting.
So
not only do they fly with winged ankles with gold scales,
right,
which is kind of counterintuitive because I think that'd be heavy.
Yeah.
But they have all kinds of windswept hair, and that adds to the drama.
Exactly, right. I imagine kind of the hair product needs that these guys are going to demand.
If I had wings on my ankles, it would be strictly hair bun, right? Man bun.
Yeah, you got to keep that.
You got to keep it manageable.
You don't want that flying in your face, right? I also have to think is that these guys also probably sitting next to each other on the Argo, maybe with an oar in their hand, thinking, "What are we doing on a boat?"
That's right.
Well, can't we just hover above you guys?
That's correct.
Right.
So if you go on to the next page, we have this concluding set of lines before we go on to the farewell. So Jason's assembled the crew. And listener, you're going to want to read this. You're going to want to read through the whole catalog and get all of the mentions. It's not very many pages. And then we move on to that next page, which is going to be page 10 in the text. And this is what we encounter. All these, meaning all the heroes, were assembled to serve Aeson's son Jason. The locals called all the heroes Minii, for most of them and all the bravest believed that they were sprung from the blood of the daughters of Mineus. Jason himself was the son of Alcimede, whose mother was Clymene, the daughter of Mineus.
Right, so Jason can directly trace his lineage to
That's correct.
To Mineus.
That's correct. Right. That important mythological character. So they don't call themselves the Argonauts. The locals and the sailors themselves call themselves Minions, right?
Right. Right. And it might be a little bit of foreshadowing on Apollonius' part, is because of that. We're going to get around to the selection of Jason as the leader, but maybe this particular genealogical tie kind of foreshadows that he's going to be the one chosen.
Mm-hmm. Then he has to say goodbye to his mama, right?
Yep.
And that comes next, his mother Alcimede. And as the story progresses, we move from that to the selection of the captain. We want to move there next?
Yeah, let's do that.
Great. So, Jeff, can you pick it up at the bottom of page 12?
Yes, this is a section that our editors have entitled Preparations for the Journey. And it goes like this. When he had left the well-constructed streets of the city, that detail too is, the well-appointed chairs and tables of the Odyssey, right? It's very Homeric.
You can't tell a story without leaving subtle descriptive touches.
Right, exactly. So when he had left the well-constructed streets of the city, he came to the beach at Pagasae, where he was greeted by his crewmen assembled near the ship. When they saw Acastus and Argus barreling down from the city, they marveled that they had come against Peleus' will. Argus, son of Aristor, wore around his shoulders a hairy bull hide that reached down to his feet.
That's got to be uncomfortable.
Exactly. But if this is the summertime, forget about it.
Right.
Acastus, a beautiful double-folded mantle that his sister Pelopeia had presented to him. Jason held back from asking them about every detail. He wants to ask. He's really interested in the accoutrements. Right?
That's right.
Exactly. The accessories. But ordered all to be seated for an assembly. They seated themselves on the folded sails and the mast that lay still on the ground. And Jason, the son of Aeson, addressed them all with good will. He says, all of the gear a vessel needs is here in good order, ready for us to embark. There is no need to delay on that account. We're only waiting for a tailwind. We all want to return to Hellas after our voyage, and we are united in reaching the land of Aeetes. So putting selfishness aside, choose the best man here as our leader, the best to settle our internal disputes and to deal with all our foreign alliances.
Okay, now Jeff, thank you. But this strikes me, is this Homeric?
That last part is definitely not Homeric.
Yes, putting selfishness aside, choose the best man here as our leader. Can you imagine Achilles, Diomedes, Odysseus, any of those men, Agamemnon, saying such a thing?
Right. Yeah.
Is it as simple as, is the explanation as simple as this comes after Athenian democracy? This comes after hundreds of years of political turmoil and trouble that arises from strife and quarreling, right? This is written in the 280s, 260s, something like that. We're 200 years away from the Periclean democracy, the Peloponnesian War. Is the Homeric ethos, is it going to function properly anymore?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And I wonder if Apollonius sets this up as a kind of surprise to his audience, right? Because as up to this point, Jason his situation is the catalyst for the whole thing.
That's correct.
And so it'd be
easy. He's central.
He's central. It'd be easy to make the assumption, okay, well, we're all kind of going for his purpose. It would make sense that he would be the one to kind of lead this whole thing.
Right.
But Jason himself kind of throws this open. I just want to mention, when I teach mythology.
Yes.
Broadly speaking, of course, there's always differences. But broadly speaking, my students tend not to like Odysseus.
Oh, sure.
They revel in the story.
They don't seem to like any of the Homeric heroes except maybe Hector.
Heck, they love Hector.
But even Hector is problematic in some ways because he leaves his family to go die.
Right. But the irony that I always see is that why do my students not like Odysseus? The main thing that they bring up is like they find him too braggadocious.
Yeah,
he's too self-involved.
The philandering bothers them a little
yes,
bit.
Right. The
But
double
not-
standard.
Yes, but not so much because it's not clear that he's not compelled to do so, at least with Calypso.
Right.
There's compulsion, right?
Right.
So I would agree with you. The braggadocio is far more offensive
Right.
than any of his other questionable traits.
So they don't like them. And they're seeing this through a lens of, broadly speaking, kind of a Judeo-Christian notion of humility.
Correct.
Right? Of course, which did not exist.
Not a virtue for the Greeks.
But the irony is, when we get around to Jason,
they don't like him either.
he's too milquetoast, right? So they don't like him because I say, Jason, he's never bragging.
That's right.
In fact,
he's constantly deferring.
He's constantly delegating, right? Let's settle this at the detente table,
right? Like the old cartoon, right? I don't know if it was a Looney Tunes of the two chipmunks. Remember?
Oh yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Chip and Dale,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You first. No, you first.
No, you first. Right.
It's a competition in deference.
That's right. Exactly.
That's how Jason is.
Right. So they don't like that either, right? And so I say, well, this is the guy that has, he completely lacks the thing that you hated about Odysseus. Well,
right.
We don't like him because he doesn't have a backbone or whatever.
So how do they feel? Just to digress a little further for a moment, how do they feel about Aeneas?
It's rare in my myth class that we get around to Aeneas, but that would be interesting to do that kind of broad comparison
because he seems to be kind of in between the two extremes.
Yeah, I think
they might criticize him for having no passion.
Yeah,
which is a common criticism of Aeneas.
I think that if we read the kind of the one thing that if you read something, it's the Dido episode.
Right,
they'd come away hating Aeneas.
Right. They'd hate him for that.
Right.
You're too stoic.
Too
driven by duty. Right. Which is all just basically an indictment of being Roman.
Right. Yeah. So my guess is that the Flaccus's Jason is probably a lot more duty driven.
Yes,
right?
Virgilian.
Yep.
So if I can continue at that same spot.
Yeah.
At this, says Apollonius, the young heroes all turned their eyes toward Heracles, the great hero sitting in their midst. And with one shout, they approved him as their leader. So if we're going to choose the best man, according to Jason, right, the man who's best to settle our internal disputes and to deal with all our foreign alliances, it's no contest.
Right.
It's Heracles.
Right. So you have to imagine that all of these heroes, and if we were to go through all the list of the catalog of heroes, I mean, there's some like Orpheus that will jump out, but for the most part, they seem to be kind of local boys made good. But then there's Heracles. He's the star.
Right.
So of course everybody looks directly to him.
Yeah. But he says, according to Apollonius, but he, meaning Heracles, simply stretched forth his right hand and said, so no, right, speak to the hand. He declines. Was it William Tecumseh Sherman said, if nominated, I won't campaign, and if elected, I will not serve?
Yeah.
Something very close.
Right.
Very close to that.
Yep.
So he says, no way. And what's the reason that he gives, Jeff?
He says, let no one give this glory to me. I won't be persuaded. I will not allow any other champion to stand up either. Let the man who assembled us command our forces. Thus high-hearted Heracles, and they all assented. So Heracles just has to say the word, and everybody just agrees.
What do you think about his reasoning, though? Here's the reason why Jason should lead the expedition, command all our forces. He assembled us.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty slender argument.
Right. I guess this makes me think of I read a book recently about Lincoln during the Civil War. Or
was this Doris Kearns Goodwin?
Well, I read that one too.
Something like what was it, Cabinet of Enemies or
a Team of Rivals? Team of Rivals, which is great. This is one. This is a more recent one by
though potentially plagiarized.
Oh, was it really?
Oh, but I digress.
Okay, that's interesting. We'll have to talk about that. This was a more recent one by Eric Larson.
Okay,
where he's talking about the early days of the Civil War, and he talks a lot about how who's the guy who bought Alaska?
Seward,
right? And he talks about how Seward, he thought, well, yeah, let's elect this yokel from Illinois because I can pull this, I can run roughshod over this idiot.
Oh yeah,
and so he was Seward, according to Larson, was very intent on becoming kind of the de facto president.
Yeah.
So maybe we could say Heracles.
Boy, was he surprised.
Yes, he was very surprised.
Nobody knows his name anymore, but hardly. But now there are vehicles and such named after the other fellow.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe Heracles is kind of thinking, like Seward, well, let me just kind of feign deference, and I'm going to run the show anyway.
Of course, he did appear in that famous Phil Collins song, Sue Seward.
Yeah, that's a catchy pop.
Isn't that Phil Collins?
It is Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Sewardo.
Right. So he did get some fame.
Yeah.
So you're saying that potentially Hercules, we'll let Jason be the figurehead, right, of the Argo, so to speak, but I'll be really in charge?
No, I'm suggesting that kind of facetiously. What I really think is Apollonius keeps his narrative tight, right? So he's probably thinking maybe of his audience, thinking, well, if Heracles is in this group, of course, why wouldn't they want him as their leader?
Right.
So let me just give a quick scene in which Heracles kind of rejects the crown, and we can kind of quickly move on to this being Jason's story.
Okay.
I think it just serves it's a plot device.
All right.
Yeah.
So Jason accepts.
Yep.
The next line, to be sure, if you trust me with your glory, let nothing else hinder our departure. Let us now appease Phoebus with sacrifices and then prepare a feast. Until my servant's arrival, my chief farm hands, who will bring chosen oxen, will haul the ship down to the sea, rig the tackling, and draw lots to determine our benches for rowing. Meanwhile, let's build out on the beachhead an altar for Apollo, god of embarking, Emboscius, right? Mm-hmm. Whose oracle promised he would show me the way, guiding our course through the sea as long as I offered sacrifice to him before this voyage for Peleus.
That sounds a little bit like Aeneas. He wants to be religiously correct.
That's right.
Right?
P.S. Aeneas.
But as you were suggesting, kind of looking at this poem through the lens of Athenian democracy, I mean, even the idea that Jason kind of throws it out to a vote,
right?
Strange. You have men making speeches, and then there's not even priority seating on the benches. We're gonna cast lots.
Yes,
right. Very much as the Athenians chose a lot of positions in their government.
Right. Group 6 boards. You're in 13A.
That's right.
13B. Right. Not that I'm speaking from recent experience. You have to hang your garment bag at the front, and let's face it, you got to wrestle that thing in there.
Oh man.
And then you have to do the walk of shame through the first class.
Always
awkwardly clutching your bag that's too large.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what are these first classers thinking of me, right?
Right.
Cheapskate.
Exactly.
Sitting in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already sipping their what is it? Ernest and Giulio Gallo.
That's right. Yeah, yep. It's completely sneering and dismissive
right.
of the peasants.
So that's how they boarded the Argo?
Well, not exactly. I mean, the text suggests that not even Heracles got priority seating.
Okay.
He had to roll the dice like everybody else.
He probably got a whole row to himself, though. I mean, the size of that guy.
Exactly.
Can you imagine fighting over the armrest with Hercules?
The worst. Right. You're not getting any sleep on that trip.
No. Speaking of not getting any sleep.
Yes.
Time for the ads.
Do it.
This episode is brought to you by the great folks at Ratio Coffee. Jeff, Mark Helweg, the entrepreneur, started out in Portland, Oregon. He's down in Austin, Texas now, but it's producing this great quality coffee machine. First the Ratio 8, then the Ratio 6, and now the Ratio 4. I think you've been through all three machines?
I have. Yep.
Okay.
I currently have in operation the 4 in my office.
Okay.
And I have the flagship 8 in my home.
Describe the landscape for us a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, so my 8 is it's a beautiful machine. It's a stainless steel with the wood accents. It sits on my countertop and greets me every morning where I've prepared the grounds.
Like, hey, Jeff.
Yep. Hey, what's up?
Right.
Yeah, nice to see you, as always. And I hit the button, it goes through those 3 stages so smoothly, and I get great coffee. I have to say that the worst thing about my 3 days away camping was being without my Ratio.
So did you have any coffee?
Hey, we had we boiled water over the fire and did some instant coffee.
Ooh, that's bad.
Just enough to kind of wake you up, but
dark sparkling crystals, something like that.
Right. Now I have to admit, I have to imagine that you missed your Ratio on your.
I
travels.
did. Yes, I was using the Gurik with its marsupods.
Really?
A little Joey in every sip.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's some convenience there,
of course,
but there's definitely a dry, dusty flavor to that coffee.
Yeah.
Just don't care for it.
Was this the in-house hotel machine that you were using?
Gotcha. At the Airbnb.
Gotcha.
The nice little drawer.
Yes.
And I thought, I knew I was in for that when I left home.
Right.
Is there any way I can take the Ratio 4? No. But these places that have the Ratio 4, that's a selling point.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because the coffee's phenomenal.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, great stuff. So, listeners, do yourself a favor. Go to ratiocoffee.com/ad nauseum, and don't forget the V in nauseum as you type that in. And if you use this coupon code, AN Ratio 2026, Dave, what will that get them?
$20 off any coffee machine of their choice. Check it out. They have a wide range of wonderful, wonderful ways to up your coffee game, and we're also very grateful that they have been, Mark has been supporting this podcast. He is himself a devotee of the classics.
Yeah.
For nigh into 5 years.
Yeah, fantastic.
Going strong.
Yep.
So check that out. Don't forget the coupon code ANRatio2026.
And this episode is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Hackett Publishing. Speaking of sponsors who have been with us for a long time, these guys have been with us since the very beginning.
That's right.
Pretty close to the very beginning.
Fall of 2020.
Yeah, where Dave, I believe you dropped a note just asking, hey, would you guys be interested?
I did. I'm always interested in trying something,
Right.
absurd, taking a flyer, like they say.
Yeah, and it did not take a back and forth of negotiation and persuasion. They said, hey, we're in.
Right.
And this company...
We want to support the classics. We want to keep things going, so we're right behind you.
Exactly. And they're one of these great companies that is keeping the flame alive. They produce high-quality textbooks, books from every corner of academia, especially the classics. But if you're looking for books that have an attractive packaging, high-quality writing and translation, a wide variety of different translations for the same work, Hackett is the place to go.
Yeah. So get your Lombardo Odyssey, your Lombardo Iliad, now your Lombardo Argonautica, the Metamorphoses of Ovid. Also, there is the Ambrose translation of Ovid's Metamorphoses. We're due for a vignette pretty soon.
Yes,
aren't
we are. Yeah, we gotta dip back into that. Well, it's always fun.
That's correct.
Yep. And the affordability is also a huge selling point. And so if you want attractive books, high quality stuff between the covers, and you want to save some money along the way, Hackett is the place to go. So go to hackettpublishing.com. That's HACKETT publishing.com. And if you type in the coupon code AN2026, it's AN as in ad nauseum plus the current year, that's going to get you 3 wonderful things. I'll list the first 2. Dave, you got the third.
Okay.
You're going to get 20% off your entire order. You're going to get free shipping and...
the opportunity to support this humble podcast.
That's right.
Now, before we send them there, one final thing, actually 2 final things, and that is you're mentioning the great value and affordability. They have also recently moved into super high quality as well.
Yeah.
So they were never low quality.
No.
These were well made, but now they're releasing signature editions.
Right.
Smith sewn, fancy covers, gilt lettering, and so forth.
We gave away the Aristotle, right?
Yes, collected works of Aristotle. You can also pick up Augustine's Confessions, the Thomas Williams translation, Nietzsche, and their other one is going to be the Nicomachean Ethics of Aristotle as translated by C.D.C. Reeve.
Yeah.
Hackett signature editions. Browse around the interwebs. You'll find them easily. Drop it into your grocery basket, enter the coupon code AN2026, and score. Final item, stay tuned to the end of the episode. We're going to give the name of the winner of our Hackett giveaway for Plautus and Terence comedies.
Yeah,
Check it out. Okay, Jeff, so we're ready to set sail once again.
Right.
With the Argo, and I think you're going to take us ahead to the story of Hypsipyle and the women of Lemnos.
Right. So they make their due sacrifices, as we were talking about before the break, and they depart from Iolcus.
They're cleared for takeoff.
Yep. And their first stop is on the island of Lemnos.
All right.
If you to glance at a map, from mainland Greece to the island of Lemnos, which is a real place, is not all that far. So this is a very early stop on their way up towards the Black Sea. Right? And so on Lemnos, they find a very curious situation at hand. And Apollonius writes, all of the men here, that is on Lemnos, the Lemnian men, had been ruthlessly murdered by the island's women. An outrageous transgression triggered by the men having hatefully rejected their wedded wives in favor of a passion for the women they had captured when they raided Thrace. This due to Aphrodite's terrible anger for their having denied her due honor.
Okay.
So this is...
so in layman's terms, right, Lemnos is populated by men and women alike, as is normal. But the men of Lemnos, they sail to the mainland.
Yep.
They raid the Thracians and bring back new brides.
Yes.
And when they get to their own island of Lemnos, it's kind of like Clytemnestra writ large, right? Clytemnestra and Cassandra.
Exactly.
When
at scale. Right?
Agamemnon brings the Trojan princess Cassandra back to Mycenae, Clytemnestra says, I'm not having any of that.
Right.
and so kills Agamemnon. So now, you said at scale, right, the women of Lemnos kill all of their husbands.
Yes.
Because they're taking up with captive brides.
Right. It's a very kind of interesting. So it's set up as I mean, there's dozens of tales that fall into what we call the bride stealing motif.
Okay.
Right. The rape of the Sabines and such in Roman tradition. But here too, it's a similar thing where the men of Lemnos go off to Thrace and they kind of caveman style take these new brides from themselves. But the twist is when they get back home, the women aren't too happy about it, and they take the knives into their own hands and kill all the men.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary twist.
It is. Ill-starred women, continues Apollonius, their ravenous jealousy led to their ruin. Not only did they kill their husbands for being unfaithful, but they slew all of the men on the island as well, to avoid paying any retribution for murder. So that's an interesting touch.
Right.
Something I missed the first time.
It goes beyond this, because not all the men on the island were married.
Right.
But so they said, well, somebody's going to be, we want to remove any chance of revenge.
That's correct.
So we'll just kill them all.
Wholesale.
Yep.
Of all the women, Hypsipyle alone spared one, her aged father Thoas, king of the Lemnians, sending him off to drift on the waves in a hollow chest with some hope of survival. So this was Acrisius's same move, right? Drop someone in a floating box. What he did to his own daughter, Danae, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And her son, Perseus.
Yes. Just continuing a little bit more. Fishermen hauled him ashore on the island of Onoe, in later times called Sikinas, the name of the son Oneus bore to Thoas. The women's work then, tending the cattle and plowing the fields, they found easier than the domestic work of Athena that had been their lot. Right. So this is so the women have found them in a situation where they are forced to, and Apollonius suggests prefer to kind of go against kind of their what we call like their gendered expectations.
Correct.
Right.
So it's adunaton, right?
Yeah.
It's a complete reversal of the natural order.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Husbands are dead. They're not taking care of husbands or children. They're not at home. They are out doing all the things the men do.
Right. And so, and then Aphrodite is kind of behind the scenes of this as well. It reminds me of the story of Hippolytus too.
Right.
Where there's punishment due to not following kind of his natural desires, right? And so offending Aphrodite, she takes revenge.
Do we know of any lost tragedies on the women of Lemnos? I don't know of any, but there must be.
Yeah.
There must be among the big three or even some of the lesser lights. There must be the women of Lemnos as a tragedy.
Yeah. It's an interesting story. I think that it could go a number of ways. I mean, I could also imagine a lost kind of dark Aristophanes comedy.
For sure.
Right? We were talking off mic is that there are other versions of this episode where Aphrodite also curses the women with incredibly bad body odor.
Right.
As a way of repelling any men that might come to the island.
Right.
And set things back to the natural order. But Apollonius
leaves that
detail out.
Can we be thankful for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he probably left it out because he doesn't want it to have a whiff of comedy.
Nice. He doesn't want it to degenerate into something like that.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So I think that broadly speaking, that's a story that could be treated as kind of a dark comedy, but also deeply tragic, as I think what Apollonius wants.
You'd have to be careful that it not turn into speed stick. I mean slapstick, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The opportunities for comedy with
there's a lot there.
BO is great.
Yeah. Brute our way through it, so to speak. But Hypsipyle is not enthusiastic about them showing up. So here at the bottom of 22, the women of Lemnos now streamed through the city at Hypsipyle's command. And when they had gathered in a great assembly, she spoke among them in urgent tones. Come, my friends, let us present these men with a store of delightful gifts that will satisfy their hearts, suitable supplies for fitting out a ship at sea, provisions of food and sweet wine, so that they stay well outside our towers and do not come to know us too closely by going to and fro, furnishing their ship's needs, and then spread a wicked and widespread report of us. We've carried off a mighty feat, but one that none of them would approve if they learned of it. This is the plan that seems best suited for us now, but if any of you has better counsel, let her rise to speak, for that is why I've summoned you here to this conference. So Hypsipyle's plan is, we do not want anything to do with these heroes and all these men. Mm-hmm. We like the situation we've got for ourselves now.
That's right.
The island is free of men. Yes, we're doing all the hard chores and so forth, the stuff that, requires so much physical labor, but that's better than the situation we had previously.
Right.
So let's give them a quick hero's welcome and send them on their way.
Right. Yeah. It's and also the language that she uses there at the end. It's anyone has better counsel, let her rise and speak. Once again, we have kind of that democratic flavor.
That's right.
Leading into the passage, but it's also very short-sighted. Unless these women on Lemnos are determined to be the last
That's right.
generations to live on the island.
There
right?
will be no progeny.
Right.
And that's something that the nurse says, because she gets up to speak, Polyxo, the beloved nurse of Hypsipyle, and she gives a long speech. So here I see kind of Homeric references, you might say. This is like the different heroes standing up on the plains of Troy, Book 9 of the Iliad, giving counsel of different kinds. So
Yes.
we don't want to push the case too far that Apollonius is departing from Homer in any substantive way. I think it's more a matter of emphasis. He's
Yes.
still clearly imitating the inherited tradition.
Yes, exactly.
So surprisingly, after Polyxo speaks, everybody likes what she says instead, and they take a different tack, which is to welcome Jason and company into the city.
That's right.
Can you read that portion for us, please?
Right. So Polyxo spoke, and the assembly roared with approval. Then Hypsipyle rose again and said in reply, "Since everyone favors this plan of action, I will dispatch a messenger down to the ship." She then turned to Iphigenia and said, "Go, Iphigenia, hurry to meet this man, whoever commands this expedition, and entreat him to come to our land, so that I may inform him of our people's pleasure, and if they so desire, encourage them with all goodwill to enter our land and city at once, without fear."
Right.
So now this changes everything. And this part of the episode remind me a bit of like the Phaeacians episode.
Yes.
With Odysseus, there's lots of hospitality. There is competition. There's chariot racing.
That's right.
The gods are smiling down with their favor.
You're talking about the time when he washes up on shore and there's Nausicaa, the daughter of the king and queen.
Exactly. Yeah, and of course, what this ultimately boils down to is that Jason is welcomed in by Hypsipyle, and there is a brief but intense love connection.
Correct.
Yep.
A sort of a Chuck Woolery thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So Iphigenia talks to the men.
Yep.
The men like the idea.
Yes, they do.
And then Jason puts on this incredible robe, and we get kind of a description, an ekphrasis, like
Yes.
the shield of Achilles, the shield of Aeneas, so on and so forth. And that's at the bottom of 24. It's apparently a purple mantle that Pallas Athena had woven.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this long description of everything that's on it. The Cyclopes seated at their work, Antiope's twin sons, Amphion and Zethus building the city of Thebes. There's Aphrodite, there's Ares. This is an amazing garment that he puts on.
Right.
To impress the ladies as he goes into the capital city of Lemnos.
Exactly, right. So it's just like, the Achilles shield. I think if we were to go through this section by section, we might see some of what, some deeper themes that Apollonius is getting at.
Right.
What struck me too is that I think it's another way of Apollonius saying is that this is another reason why Jason has been chosen as the leader. Now, the gods themselves don't show up a lot directly in this whole story, but I think it's through the ekphrasis like this of the mantle that kind of shows that Jason's been given kind of the nod,
Right.
of at least Athena, and that's in a hero story. That's the most important one.
That's right. And for you fans of Virgil, this entrance of Aeneas into the city of Lemnos was the inspiration, it seems, for the entrance of Aeneas into the city of Carthage, which is in Book 1 of the Aeneid.
Yes, exactly.
So Jason goes to Hypsipyle's palace, and then he likes what he sees.
He
and
does.
Are they going to depart?
Not immediately.
Okay.
I mean, Hypsipyle also seems to like what she sees as well, and the other Lemnian women also like what they see when the other Argonauts are around. And so we get this scene where the Lemnian women take the Argonauts, not all of them, to their homes, and things happen.
Right. But not Heracles.
Not Heracles, which is really striking.
Restraint.
Yes.
The man of restraint, who since Homeric times has turned into, I guess, a paragon of self-control.
Exactly, and also, as we saw, kind of humility and deference.
Correct.
Early on. And so at the top of page 29 in our translation, we get, Jason then set out for Hypsipyle's palace and the others to wherever fortune led them, all except
Which
Heracles.
is a euphemism,
Yes,
right?
exactly, yeah. All except Heracles, who had decided, along with a few chosen comrades, to stay with the ship. The city became festive with dancing and banquets, and the air was filled with smoke from sacrifices, honoring both Cypris and Hera's son Hephaestus.
So Cypris is Aphrodite.
Yes, exactly. Day after day, the sailing was delayed, and they would have lingered there longer had not Heracles assembled his crewmates apart from the women and lit into them. So then what follows is a speech where he's saying, come on, guys.
Right.
We got to get going.
Can I read just 2 lines of that?
Please.
Are you possessed? Are we barred from our homeland for killing our kin? Have we come here from there looking for wives, scorning our women back home? Ironic, right? Because the Lemnian women scorned their men.
Exactly.
Are we going to settle here and plow Lemnis's cropland? We'll gain no grand fame loitering like this with foreign women, nor will some god answering our prayers take a fleece on the hoof and just give it to us.
Yeah.
Let each of us get back to business and leave Jason behind in Hypsipyle's bed until he's populated Lemnos with his offspring and attained great glory. So Hercules has had enough.
He's had enough. Yeah, exactly. Some deep, biting sarcasm.
That's right.
against
I'm
his
out,
captain,
he says.
Captain there, right?
Yeah. Well, he's going to leave the ship pretty soon.
Pretty soon, right.
Which is going to be for the next episode.
And I have to say there's a little more than a little foreshadowing here. He says, we'll gain no grand fame loitering like this with foreign women.
That's right.
But this is exactly what Jason, of course, does with Medea.
That's right.
And he gains maybe great infamy by doing
Right.
so. Yeah.
And yet, to wrap it up here, Jason and Hypsipyle have a fairly amicable parting.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be rancor, right?
No. Exactly. So this is a peaceful parting.
Yep, on page 30.
Right. This does not descend into like the Lemnian women turning on the Argonauts like they did their husbands.
Correct.
And so, but the idea is that when the Argonauts leave, a good number of the Lemnian women are pregnant.
Right.
And this will allow for the next generation to be born.
That's correct.
And it's one of these it's civilization over savagery.
That's right.
They kind of indirectly, or I guess directly, they re-civilize this island that was kind of out of the state of nature.
Yep. So Hypsipyle wishes them good luck. Hope you find the fleece, bring it back to the king, so on and so forth. Yet when you're away, she says, and when you've reached home, remember Hypsipyle. Leave me a mandate which I can fulfill gladly if the gods should permit me to be a mother. So then Jason says, yeah, sure, okay. Here's what I'd like you to do. If I have a kid by you, send him back to take care of my mother and father in distress. To quote, that is, if he finds them yet living at all, and that they may then find tender care by their own hearth in their own halls, far from the king. He finished and boarded the ship, followed by the rest of the heroes. Sitting in order, they took hold of the oars, and after Argus had loosened the cables from the surf-pounded rock, they beat the seawater white with their oars. That evening, at Orpheus's bidding, they put in at Samothrace, island of Electra, Atlas's daughter.
Great, excellent. So I think
Good place to stop.
Good place to stop, and
Okay.
we'll pick it up with the next island hop.
That's correct. So we're 3/4 of the way through book 1. We got some great excitement and adventure coming up. I can see this is going to take us more than 4 episodes.
Definitely, right?
It's too much richness.
There's too much richness. There's too much good stuff to get to. But for now, Dave, we got to get out of here. I don't know if there's a specific reason.
I don't remember. No.
I didn't hear anybody beating at the door.
Coalition against, I don't know, deodorant puns or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some of those people from First Class. They didn't like the way they were spoken of.
Oh, that's true. Exactly. Well, they're probably on their way. So let's get out of here before they actually show
Okay.
up. Right. So, Dave, before we go, help some people learn some Greek and help them learn some Latin, will you?
So what you need to do, friends, is go to latinperdiem.com and check out one of my beginner's courses. Moss Method for Greek takes you from neophyte to...
Erudite.
That's correct. Whether you are just a tender shoot with a little bit of Greek or maybe you know none at all, this class is the answer. It's what you've been looking for. I believe it is the greatest value available for learning Greek. Yes, I have competitors. Their courses tend to be more expensive. If you do a judicious comparison, by and large, their credentials are inferior to mine. I hate to be quite so, put such a fine point on it, but I think that the potential customer needs to know what they're getting into. Make a comparison and see, are you really getting your money's worth? Lots of experience teaching these materials. Go to the website, check it out. You can also study Latin through the Lingua Latina per se Illustrata courses that I've prepared. Learn Latin from the ground up, ab initio. 10% off any course by entering this coupon code 10+, 10PLUS. I'd like to also mention 2 apps that my team and I have developed. The Calvin's Latin Bible, available on Android and Apple platforms. $9.99 gets you the whole Bible. The whole New Testament is done. It has Makra, that is long marks for proper pronunciation. It has my reading of the text so you can hear it. It's got all kinds of additional features, including original compositions, prayers, creeds, and so on and so forth. About 3/4 of the Old Testament is finished. It's all coming online very soon. We also have a Greek app, Moss Method for Greek, available on both platforms. Again, you can learn proper Greek pronunciation, and that app, which represents thousands of hours of work, is $1.99. So Moss Method for Greek app, or the Calvin's Latin Bible.
Fantastic.
That's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Jeff, we got to thank some people.
Yeah, as always, our wonderful editor and audio engineer, Mishka, who puts us together so quickly, turns it around nicely, and makes us sound better than we actually do.
Absolutely.
Jeff Sheets, that great guitarist, I believe he's out of Kansas City.
That's correct.
And you hear his song, a bit of his song Thrill Seeker in the intro. And then also later on, you hear bits of his Rush Hour.
That's correct.
Just great stuff.
Check out his music. And Jeff, it's time to have our drawing.
Yes.
So I would like you, please, to pick a number between 2 and 11. A number between 2 and 11. What's the lucky number?
I'm seeing the number 9.
The number 9. Okay, Ryan Martini.
Ryan Martini.
You know Ryan. As it turns out,
yeah.
Ryan is the winner of 5 comedies of Plautus and Terence, thanks to the good folks at Hackett Publishing. So that's going to be...
Congratulations, Ryan.
Congratulations, Ryan. That is well on its way to you.
Yeah.
So I think we know what we're doing next week. Am I right?
More Argonautica.
This will be part 3 of the series. And anything else we got to take care of here before we sign off?
Always an invitation. If you want to get in touch with us, don't hesitate to drop a note. You can write to Dave at adnauseam.com. Don't forget the V. And you can write to me, Jeff at adnauseam.com. Again, once again, don't forget the V. If you have an idea for a show, you got a complaint. Right. If you want to get on the Will train, and
complaints in Corrigenda.
Right,
that's the fuel that keeps us going.
Right. But really, if you want a shout out, we love to.
Yes.
We love to talk up our fans.
That's correct.
And so, drop us a note. Tell us a little bit about you, why you love the classics, and what brought you to the podcast.
Yeah.
And
what you're doing to take them in and keep them down.
Keep them down.
That's right.
And Dave, I believe you have our gustatory parting shot.
I do. This is from one Munia Khan, about whom I know nothing, except that she said this about eating. So I think it's apropos of our theme. No food is edible if you don't feel like eating. That's true. Standing is incredible if you hate sitting.
Very true.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.